Please let our viewers know where the idea for Black Guns Matter came from.
Yeah.
And what is the mission of Black Guns Matter?
Black Guns Matter as an organization, as a movement, we are here to inform everyone, more specifically in urban America, because that's where the bulk of this racist practice of gun control is. To people that don't know, gun control was literally started to stop black people from exercising their Second Amendment rights. And I'm not just talking about the thing that Ronald Reagan did with the Mulford Act in Cali in the 60s. We're talking about the black codes, the slave codes. Like, entire state constitutions were amended to say black people can't have the right to keep and bear arms, even though the Second Amendment was 100% clear. So we go to those areas and inform that demographic and break that spell there. Some people think that I'm saying only black people, and it's not called only Black Guns Matter. Fred Hampton Sr. wasn't about only black people. It's like, yo, if you are in opposition to overreaching government and the state encroaching into your life, if you're really a patriot, if you're really about that freedom thing and liberty, you should be behind this. And if you happen to be white, awesome. You happen to be Spanish, awesome. You happen to be black, Spanish, awesome. It doesn't matter. In doing so, we had a stated purpose of making the urban demographic, mostly black people, because that's where we were targeting, because of those laws, unconstitutional statutes, I should say that, because they're not laws, they're not valid. We said we're gonna make this demographic be the new largest gun buying demographic. We started that in 2016, by 2019 that was proven. We had only spent about $300,000. We just went to all of these areas where all of the homicides were. We were just preaching the gospel of gun control is racist, because everything in America is not racist, but some things really are. That's one of them, right? And so we just showed people, showed and proved, gave people the information, helped them learn how to do this safely and responsibly. That started to snowball. I've produced way more people doing the same thing that I've done, because it inspired a lot of folks. My guy, the Don Firearms in Boston, great instructor, great brother, friend of mine. He came to our very first Black Guns Matter class in Boston. Few hundred people. He is a firearms instructor now, informing and empowering that community in Boston, you know? And everybody's so ironic because people say, oh, well, Boston, Boston's so racist. Maybe it is. But if that's the case, then why wouldn't you want, white or black, why wouldn't you want black people to have the means to defend themselves from that small amount of racists in Boston? Makes sense. So when I hear white dudes going like, this shit is awesome, I can't let everybody that's trying to go like, all of them white people. Bro, I got white supporters that'll kill a ghost for me, And so this balance and highlighting the structured racism, galvanizing people of all backgrounds, Americans, humans, that want to overturn that foolishness and empower those communities, and the data is in alignment with when there's more safe and responsible firearms owners, there's less violent crime.
Can you delve deeper and explain to the viewers why you say gun control is racist?
Yeah. All gun control is racist because it's older than America. It was literally started to make, because at that time, indigenous people, so-called Indians, and black people were both identified as Negro. That's where the whole I got Indian in my family thing comes from, right? Anecdote, like it's just an interesting tidbit. The first federal gun grab was the massacre at Wounded Knee, where they told all of those indigenous peoples, come on, turn them guns in, and they killed them. The United States government murdered them. That's the first federal gun grab, Wounded Knee. When you have a space where on one hand, the enumeration of this human right in the Bill of Rights, which is a check on government. If y'all get stupid in 100 years, the second right, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, this list of rights are things that government does not grant and cannot take away. The second one was the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, right? Then each state, which means it's enumerated. Anything that's not enumerated in this Constitution and the Bill of Rights, we will leave respectfully up to the states. That's a balance. We did a good job of explaining this shit. Anything that we missed, each state, if you feel like you want to have an abortion at this age or this month, That state allows it, this state does not. We're going to leave it up to the states. That's a good balance. Even though that's the supreme law of the land, states started coming up with their own unconstitutional statutes saying, yeah, but we just don't want these niggers to have guns. That's the reality. All of the laws that came out of that are not only wrong morally, they're also unconstitutional. That's why as gun cases get fought all the way up to the Supreme Court, they keep getting overturned. The best example of it is the Dred Scott decision, where the United States Supreme Court said no black man has any rights that any white man is bound to respect. A part of one of those judges, when they write out, this is why I'm coming to this decision, it was basically like, well, we can't respect him as a human because if we qualify Dred Scott as a human, then he can have guns. We don't want the black people to have guns. If that's not a top tier Hall of Fame check, all of the checklists example of the racist roots and origin of gun control, I don't know what is. Now, some people may say, well, that was then, not now. White people got to get a license. White people, Okay. There's a great book by Michelle Alexander called The New Jim Crow. And in that book, she talks about how racism, and I thought it was a very good example. She talks about how racism is smart. Respect the devil. It'll adapt and change. So it's a fashion faux pas now to say, we don't want you blacks to have these guns.
Implement laws that strip you from the ability to have guns.
Boom.
And at a young age, you have a high probability of being punished by these laws.
And barred from it. Barred from a constitutional right. Thinking that is legit and it's not. Not having the means or the wherewithal to fight that up to the Supreme Court. Then we don't have to say it's only for the blacks. The outcome is still the same. More black and brown people are impacted by the racist practice of gun control and charging, sentencing for the possession of a firearm. Again, I'm not advocating that guys be shooting other people. I'm just talking about the mere possession of the tool. So you're telling me that this is a constitutionally protected right. You're telling me, and history shows us, that there was and is legislation specifically saying we don't want the blacks to have this. That runs contrary to the supreme law of the land. You're also telling me that the current outcome is more black men are charged with possession of a firearm. And it's an unconstitutional mandate. I don't need you to tell me that black people now, we don't want you blacks to have it because the outcome is the same. You just calling me a nigga to my face, I don't care. You can say the greatest things to me in my face and then behind doors be like, yo, prevent him from expanding and expressing and exercising his constitutional right. It's still racist.
I want to bring context to this for people listening that don't understand certain demographics in the country. I grew up around a lot of people who had guns but never used them. Just due to the environment that they're in, they carry a gun just in case. But fortunately, they never had to use it.
Right.
And they're not ill-intentioned people like they're out robbing people or they're murderers or anything like that.
Right.
You know? But I think people have this idea that because a black person has a gun, his intention is to do harm or to engage in illegal activities. And that's just not the case.
That's another part of that media propaganda spin. If you have a firearm, you must be the bad guy or you better be police or the military. The mere presence of a firearm alone somehow has been told to people that this signifies ill intent. They use that media very skillfully. They don't say, this young man is a patriot, is an outstanding citizen that has the tools on him that if someone's raping a young lady, he can step in and stop that. They also don't tell you that on a minimum, 300,000 times per year, someone uses a firearm in a self-defensive situation, a defensive gun usage. The vast majority of those are non-lethal. So they don't tell you that on a minimum, that's the low end, 300,000 times a year, mostly non-lethal, someone presents a firearm and stops an actual crime. So they don't package it that way. They tell you that there's 30,000 deaths associated with firearms. They don't tell you that 10 times that amount, life is protected on the low end. They also don't tell you that out of that 30,000, 60% of those are suicide. So it's just lie after lie after lie. It's not about freedom. It's not about safety. It's not about responsible gun ownership. It's not about identifying urban Americans, suburban Americans, rural Americans as patriots. It's about, let's lie to people. Let's convince them to vote in things that are not in their favor. Let's hide the fact that education actually solves this. Let's also hide the fact that most gun owners, when you use a firearm for a negative purpose, are like, yeah, you got to go to jail. You violated this person's rights. So you're going to package it like, if you got a gun, you're like, no, I'm a gun owner. If you use a gun to not defend life, to rob, rape, kill, or steal, I want you to have a jury of your peers and I want you to pay your penance. So they package this overall thought process that's not what the vast majority of gun owners. Now, if you happen to be a white gun owner, they hit you with the double whammy of, or the quadruple whammy of, you also racist. If you white, never mind that you grew up in North Philly and you one of my homies, then you understand urban culture. And you damn near are in alignment with hip hop and black culture more than some of your black suburban or rural counterparts. They don't want to package you that way. They say that you got a gun to defend your life and you absolutely the criminal and he definitely racist. Respect the devil. It's a beautiful hustle. The chess game is immaculate.
Part two to this. After teaching so many people, what do you believe is the biggest misconception people have about what they can do with a legal firearm? Because I did the training in North Jersey, and I was shocked on what I could do from what I couldn't do. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like when I initially got the license, my initial thoughts were totally trumped after I took the class. Your
initial thoughts were what you could do what?
With a firearm.
Oh, the skill set.
Not even the skill set, like actually what you can do in certain situations.
Oh yeah. Y'all in Jersey. Jersey is a slave state. It's called a May issue state.
Because the guy was telling me basically,
y'all don't have the castle doctrine.
No, because he's saying if someone's in the house and I'm at the door, I have to leave.
It's called a duty to retreat state.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So I'm glad I went to the class, bro, because you'd be in a serious situation.
Now,
what you're doing.
The difference between that is what's called a duty to retreat state. This is another way they use the media very skillfully. Duty to retreat state and stand your ground state. Stand your ground states are states where if I'm in my house, stand your ground is an extension of the castle doctrine. The castle doctrine means I'm the king and queen in my castle. If you come into my castle, I have the right to defend my castle. Stand your ground is an extension of that. I have a right as the king to stand in my environment, providing I'm not there, like I'm not breaking into somebody else's home. I have the right to stand my ground and defend my life if someone tries to attack me. African American people benefit from stand your ground cases when they use it as a self-defense case than any other ethnic group. So when the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman thing happened, even though he did not use stand your ground as a defense, the media tried to package it to get black people to end stand your ground. Never mind the fact that they didn't tell you that black people using stand your ground as a self-defense, you don't go to jail more than anybody else when you say, I was standing my ground. This person came over to me and was trying to harm or take my life. They don't tell you that. Then they try to get you to advocate to end stand your ground laws to make every state a duty to retreat state. In those states, with some noted exceptions, if the bad guy is, we in a boxed in room, and I got one way out, and I got my gun on me, I will get charged criminally if Jason is standing by the door. If I shoot Jason, and he got the bloody machete about to come swinging at me, if I shoot Jason, I'm gonna catch a charge for shooting Jason instead of me running through Jason and trying to knock Jason over and get out the door. That's the difference between a stand your ground state and a duty to retreat state. What we teach our students is I treat everything like a duty to retreat, unless I can't. If someone's in my home, I know that I have the castle doctrine. I live in Pennsylvania. I have a plan in place because as a gun owner, I don't want to take anybody's life unless I have to. I don't want to take life. I just want to stop the threat. But we have a plan for if somebody's in my house, they downstairs, they taking my big screen off the wall. I'm going to get my family secured in one location. I'm going to yell out, the police have been called. We are armed. Please leave. I'm not doing what they tell us to do on media, on the television shows. I'm not going to go do one-man CQB to go find the person that may be armed and look for a gunfight. That's stupid. I'm not doing it. So I treat everything like a duty to retreat situation, unless I can't. If that bad person then comes up the steps, starts to walk down the hall, and I've already issued commands, and I now have somebody recording with me issuing commands, and they put me or my family's life in jeopardy, at that point, I don't care if it's a duty to retreat state or a stand your ground state. I have a human right to defend myself, and I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. So that's kind of like the difference. And we just generally, in long format, hence me not being on certain platforms, in long format, explaining this to the people, the viewers that's listening to this right now are going to go, damn, that makes sense. You know, it's a good thing that you took that class. Again, shouts to Anthony Calandro and Gun for Hire, because they'll explain to you all of this missing information, because everything that I see on TV, for the vast majority of stuff on TV, is 100% wrong. If you urban, they're going to show you pointing the gun this way, which is wrong, right? Every time they present the firearm, you're going to hear it click, clack. First of all, the round has already been chambered. You just doing this does not produce a sound. They do that in Hollywood to say we need to show, or so they think, we need to show that click, clack gun is being presented. Never mind that a gun is actually being presented. The media is complicit in fostering an ignorance around firearms related issues. Because that same media conglomerate has multiple investments. It's like record labels. You got a subsidiary of Def Jam. Def Jam is owned by Universal. Universal is owned by Vivendi. Vivendi owns like Seagram's, your ginger ale company. Which means they have a multitude of investments. One of those multitude of investments is prisons. So if I have a media outlet that is consistently misinforming the general public about this thing, the biggest one being like warning shots. I shot a shot in the air. That is not a thing. You can't just take a warning shot in the air. First of all, what goes up must come down. It's a round. 2, you shoot a firearm when there's an immediate and imminent threat to life. I don't shoot a gun in the air as a warning. If I have time to do that, I have time to run away, which is what I would recommend that most people do if you can. I carry a gun with me damn near everywhere. But television says, yeah, give them a warning shot. Then you never take a class. You don't sign up for our online classes, which are $20 from anywhere in the world. We give them weekly. You don't got, Maj, I can't come to the city that you in. Cool. Invest $20 for an hour and a half long class that we're going to fill your brain with so much information. So you don't take the class. Television tell you that.
Hold on, Maj. Hold on. Jump back, bro. Say what you just said. I don't think people heard you in regards to the first thing you would recommend doing is what?
Taking a class.
No, prior to the class in regards to running.
Oh, absolutely. The first thing that you should do.
I think you've been painted in such a wrong way. I think because of the whole guns matter. People think like you're trying to be aggressive. And anyone, even I took Krav Maga, bro.
Yeah.
And the first thing they tell you too is conflict resolution, bro. No one's telling you to just engage with people.
I'm in the space where the best example that I can give of how much gun owners think, safe and responsible gun owners. I don't say legal, lawful gun owners, because the rules are wrong. So I'm not following an unconstitutional and immoral rule. Safe and responsible gun owners avoid everything. We generally we are the epitome of the black statement. Who all over there? We are that. What's over there? Who in there? Nah, I'm not going over there because I'm taking my gun. And I don't, if I think I need to take my gun as opposed to I just have my gun if something happens. If I think I need to take my gun to go there, I'm not going there. I'm out. When I'm in a situation, I give this perfect example, bro. We are consistently thinking about the places that we put our bodies in because our gun's with us. I remember one time I was in a club and I knew the bouncer, I had my gun. Usually if you see me in a club, I know somebody and I got my gun in there. Whether it's me pulling them off, it's been getting easier as I've become more famous, because motherfuckers, security guys usually is gun guys. Oh shit, and it's like, look, bro, you know I'm the good guy, and they like, I know you the good. Come on, I don't even get patted down a lot, and I love that. Not because I don't want these guys to so-called do their job. That guy knows he's doing his job. I'm adding another good guy to this mix. So if a terrorist come in here and try to AR-15 a joint, we got some more good guys on our side. So if I'm in the space with my gun, and it was when I first got a pair of Yeezys. I like Yeezys. I got 2 or 3 pair of them, the slides. They're interesting looking shoes, but they super comfortable. And at that time, people knew it's almost like a status symbol, because they're very expensive. They're like $350. They're overpriced, but I like them, and I wanted to support Ye. Get the joints. I'm in that joint having a great time. Got my gun on me. This dude is beautiful women all in the joint. I'm talking thick, beautiful women, which means none of the men are paying attention to me. This dude buzzing, he dancing, whoop-de-whoop, was packed in there. Dude steps on my $350, $400 Yeezys. The conversation happens in your own mind. Gun owners go, safe and responsible gun owner, I go, what you getting mad for, bro? In my head to myself. You chose to wear these overpriced motherfucking slippers in here. To a club. We're drunk people. And thick women that no men are paying attention to you. So everybody in here dancing, he two-stepped right onto your shoe. You chose to wear them expensive. Now you feel some type of way because they was the lime green joints that could scuff up easy with, you know what I mean? You ain't get the black ones. You got the light green ones. How is this his fault? To the point where you think you should start some sort of argument because he's not paying attention to you and your high expensive shoe choices.
But I hear a correlation, and I apologize.
No, it's all right.
I hear a correlation in regards to responsible gun owners with accountability, maturity. What's the term you say when you're comfortable with yourself? Security.
Yeah.
Right? And discernment.
I don't have to think about this dude when he woke up this morning was like, I am going to destroy Maj's Yeezys. It's not his thought process. His moment is, I'm two-stepping, I'm feeling good, we in a good environment. That's it. It's not fuck everybody's shoes. The safe and responsible gun owner that trains, and the part of the reason for training is, the bad guy gets a say. Just because you train doesn't mean you win the gunfight. And just because you, Maj, got into this club with your gun, why do you think no one else has that potential to do the same thing? Maybe he has his gun. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what did you do in that moment between stimuli and reaction? Us humans have the ability to choose. That space in between there is called your OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, and act. All of that happens between stimuli and reaction. That's all you. So when you recognize and train that it's not like the movies, and if you unfortunately are ever in a gunfight, I've been in 3, they are fucking chaos. I never want to be in one ever again. I've had 3 separate times where someone has tried to murder me. It is not okay. I'm nope, don't want to be there, not interested. I'm going to be prepared. But when you have these different things, when you start taking scenario training with pellet guns and paintballing and see, bad guy gets a say. Bad guy thinks he's a good guy too. So when you start evaluating from that perspective as you train more, I don't want no smoke. I don't want most gun owners, no. And even if I know, like I go to the gym, I roll on the mats. I'm not the greatest. I roll on the mats. My evaluation of even the skinniest 130-pound dude is totally different. That white boy that looked like a nerd that been practicing in that BJJ octagon for 4 years will fold you the fuck up immediately. I'm evaluate. What's up? I'm super respectful with everything.
But I've learned anyone who's trained has that level of respect because they're aware of what other people can do, and they just don't want it to get to that point if it doesn't have to, because it's not going to work out for all parties involved.
Even if I win, I got to spend bread. I got that lawyer retainer gone.
Somebody gonna get hurt.
And if I don't ever want to put nobody in the position to play themselves. If you put me in a position where it's me going home to my family and you going home to your family, I'm going home to my family. I've made that decision. You know what I mean? Bruce Lee used to say, if a man is made a decision that he's gonna bite your nose off, you're gonna have problems with him. He's committed to biting your nose off. A committed man is, you mean? So knowing these things is why we 100% advocate for, So in that story, when the dude, after I finished having this thought process, I apologized to him. I said, I'm so sorry, bro. I want to apologize for putting my foot under your foot. And he, my even tone. The way that I said it. Oh, damn. Because I know it's loud in here. I got to project, but I can't look like I'm yelling. I want to show respect to this man that, for real, think about this. This may be his only release. He's stressing. He having a good time. He ain't got to hear about complaining. He just worked through 2 weeks, no shift off. and he was a black dude. I would have did the same for anybody. But I'm saying there's a specific set of stress that men are under. No one gives a fuck about your feelings generally as a man. I want to give him a certain level of respect as a man. My bad, bro. And he was, no, man, that was my fault. And he literally said, I fucked up, man. I'm in here looking at all these, they in here today, bro. And he was right. My tone isn't, damn, excuse me. It's like a Harry Potter spell. Your tone, you could be saying the same exact thing, and they trying to cast the spell, and one of the tone is off, and instead of them making a casket of money, they turn their friend into a fraud. Your tone was off. These words and the energies behind them, it's literally called it spelling. So, I'm gonna cast this spell properly. I'm gonna show respect. It's gonna be appreciative. It's gonna be empathetic, and it went great. It went great. That is what the vast majority of gun owners, in my experience, are. I don't want to shoot shit. Nope. I'm concerned about a motherfucker that is asking for and advocating towards the smoke. I don't want to be around that person. If I can meet that person and reach them and show them a different path, because 9 times out of 10, you haven't seen smoke yet. And if you haven't, it's like taking a youngin' to the gym. They got the heart, but you put them in the ring and say, all right, I want you for the next 60 seconds. First of all, jump rope. We're going to give you 12 rounds of 2 minutes of just jumping rope. Just jump rope. You done. Then after that, I want you to get in this ring, and I'm going to give you 60 seconds of throwing 1-2s. If they're in any way, shape, or form teachable, they're going to start recognizing, like you did, was like, I'm glad I got this information. I can't do this. They're starting to recognize the things that they physically are incapable of doing. And that develops a certain level of respect for the people that can do these things, the craft that goes into doing those things, and their ability to go, I 100% know that I can fold you up. Not interested in folding you up. I'm more interested in recognizing that the person or the entity that made you think that I'm your enemy is our enemy. There is a propaganda machine fueled by the state, making you think through whatever their investments, making you think that I'm your enemy, and I'm not, and I know it. And since I'm the gun owner, the person that trains, lifts weights, boxes, gets his ass whipped once a week at the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu spot, I am not going to allow that enemy to make that propaganda work through you on me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And just because you're ignorant about it does not mean that I'm going to allow that propaganda to operate through you, and me not do everything within my power to avoid that situation because your daughter needs you. And if I blow your top smooth the fuck off, if I put 3 in you center mass, if I take you to Mozambique with a Mozambique drill, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, your daughter is not gonna understand none of that. And that's not what our people need. That's not what our communities need. That's not what America needs. That's not what the world needs. Our common enemy is an overreaching government. And I'm not gonna let nobody take me off my square on some petty, whatever. And these are the types of conversations that people don't hear from gun owners, especially the ones that look like me.